Welcome to the Step by Step podcast by Hidden Strength. We really hope you enjoy this episode.
Emily, Thomas, welcome to the podcast. It's so lovely to have you here, and I can't thank you enough, especially for travelling, but also given that this is a very unique experience. Not many people are like, hey, let's go on a podcast. How are you both doing, first and foremost?
Go on, Emily.
I'm good. A bit tired, but really good.
Love this. And Thomas, how are you?
I'm well. The day has been well. I think the train journey was fine. And the ride from the station to here was quite good. And the street which you are on, I think, is perfect. It's quite lovely. It's tucked away from the M4, so it's quite nice. It's cozy, I think.
It's
That's
quiet.
The main thing. Yeah. And you can also see the mountains from here. So it's like... And it's my first time seeing the mountains from like Cardiff. So I'm like, at least they do exist. At least somebody has not taken them away.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, tag Cardiff Council after this. Let them know that's a tourist ad right there.
I think it will. Yeah. Well, I think I will probably do it for Aberystwyth first, and then maybe Cardiff. Yeah.
Love that. I went to uni in Aberystwyth, but it's not
fantastic.
about me.
I'm going next month.
We'll talk about that after the pod.
Perfect.
It's not about the uni, it's about you both. And the thing that binds you both together is the fact that you are youth ambassadors for Sandy Bear. And I wondered if you both individually could share a bit more about how you've got into that role.
Yep.
Who wants to go first?
Can you go first?
There we are. I'll go first. So I'm Thomas. I'm youth ambassador with Sandy Bear. I started my role 1 year, 3 months ago. So like a year ago with Sandy Bear as youth ambassador. And I think we are the first youth ambassadors for Sandy Bear.
Oh.
So I, Emily, and some other people. So like we have 4 people. We're the first batch of youth ambassadors for Sandy Bear. So my story starts from India. So I lived 12 years in India, and my mother is Indian. My father is British. So my father met my mother in India, and then they both married there. But I was born in this country. But then due to work, both shifted to India. But after 12 years, after I completed my GCSE equivalent in India, I lost my mother. So that's when the bereavement struck to me. So around age of 16, I lost my mother. And then after I finished my GCSEs, I lived 6 months in a friend's house actually. And then I completed it all. And then I left India. And then I came to this country. So it has been 3 years since I have been here. And I think I started my counseling with Sandy Bears in 2023, end of 2023. And that's when it started. And I think I ended it last year. And then thereafter, I became youth ambassador for Sandy Bears. So that's my story.
Wow. And what about you, Em?
I came youth ambassador around the same time as Thomas because it was like they advertised it as like a new project they wanted to do and I wanted to help because since being in the charity, I always wanted to give back to the charity because they've done obviously quite a lot for me.
Yeah.
I was quite young at the time. For me, it was my mum's mum, so my nana. She passed away with cancer. Obviously, being so young, I never really understood what the bereavement was about. All I saw was my mum was really upset and hurt, and when she was crying, I would cry because I'm just like that way inclined. But with the Sandy Bears, I never really like remembered what the bereavement was about. We just did like fun activities and stuff, and that was the most memorable way I would say to help with with bereavement and stuff. Yeah.
So you've both used Sandy Bear's services, and now this is a way of kind of coming full circle and giving back, but then also raising awareness, I imagine, of bereavement within young people.
Yep, completely true. So as youth ambassadors, because we have been through that problem or like that kind of that bereavement, which the children have gone through who come to Sandy Bears. So we understand them on that level that if the children are not keen on, well, probably they like we have a fantastic team at Sandy Bears. I think you will love to talk with them. But if you don't really want to talk with somebody like old, like all elder, I think you have us. So like at times when they come, when we do the like at the county show, when like just now, today is the county show, we actually have ditched it and come to your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Well, on the order of Sandy Bear, but that's the thing. So, but when we are there at the county show and when the children's come there, or like when we do our fun day every year with all the Sandy Bear family, we are there for them, and then they can do activities with us. We can talk with them if they are making something to remember the people who they've lost there in their life. So we tried that, and then we also get invited to like different kind of event where we can represent Sandy Bears, I think. But because, as I said, youth ambassadorship program of Sandy Bear is quite new, and we are actually at the moment we are establishing a program. So like what it entails, like what does it mean to be a Sandy Bear youth ambassador? What do you need to do? What is expected from you? So we are in that process of building that for the next generation of youth ambassadors.
Wow. So it's like a balance between using your lived experience, but then also creating a really powerful and positive foundation to support the next generation or any other young people who have experienced bereavement. But also you said about maybe if people don't want to talk to older people and you want someone that you can relate to, and even that's just age, having you both there is a real asset. And I imagine that's a great icebreaker for people, especially experiencing grief, because there's no right way to experience grief. It's a bit all-encompassing whilst not being sure what's right or what's wrong, and not realising that there's no wrong way to grieve. So how have you managed to take that and put such a positive and empowering spin on what would be arguably one of the worst experiences you've ever been through?
I think it's about like doing like how we work with the children, especially because obviously there's different age groups and stuff, and Sandy Bears have all like groups that the children can go in and going up to the young adults. So about like all the different activities they do and stuff, it helps the children help with bereavement in different ways. So if they don't want to speak about it, they do activities that help the children process it in a different way. So like when they maybe reach a higher group or something, then it will probably come out, but like in their time. So they're trying to like work it out and process it, which is really good, which is what I thought helped with, because obviously I've got 3 brothers at home. We me and my eldest brother, we did activities with Sandy Bears at their place, but my younger brother, he had like a little booklet, so they also do home visits, Sandy Bears, which really helped, because if you obviously you're too young and stuff, you won't understand, so you do like little different activities, which is good.
So one size fits no one. And I guess both of your stories really show and echo that you're bound together by grief and losing someone, but how you're paying it forward and also using your experiences to almost heal yourself a little bit more, I imagine, by seeing the impact you're having on other members of the Sandy Bear community.
I think, yes. I think what I would say is that when Emily mentioned about activities which we do with young people, like one of the activities which I love doing is sit around the table with the other bereaved children. I think that is a very good way to show that you are not the only person who is bereaved, because at times you feel that your life is finished there because you have lost your near and dear one. So it's like, well, nobody's there behind me, nobody's in with me, what I'm going to do. But when you see people on the other side of the table, seeing that, oh my God, there are so many other people who have bereaved, who are bereaved, you feel that, well, I'm not the only one. I think as usually in the world, I think when you don't have anybody to speak to, you feel lonely. And I think bereavement is such a thing, because the grief which you get from bereavement, I think it doesn't go away. Grief never goes away. I think that we both have learned that from, I think, our experience, that grief is a thing which never goes away. It's always there with you lifelong. And I think what I believe is, the more you talk about grief, the less it becomes in a way. I think you create a world around your grief. I think that's the main thing. I think as you talk more, I think the grief gets around quite easily more, because you're talking with a person who is already bereaved, so they will understand what you are feeling, and they will possibly be less judgy in a way, or more understanding, because I think at times bereavement can be a difficult topic to talk to an unbereaved person. You will be like, and then, because if people would talk before, if I was not bereaved, I would be like, well, what should I tell them? How should I calm them? Or like, what should I tell them that will make them feel better and not look like I'm just faking it in a sense. But I think that's the main thing that for me has worked quite well, that activity with all young people around the table together, talking with each other.
But with Thomas saying about like getting around a table and stuff, like what I like about it is when we do like a Sandy Bear Fun Day or something, we got all those families. So even though like you have private sessions or you're in little groups, when everyone gets together, it's like the best feeling because you're like, you've all gone through like a bereavement in different ways and everything.
Yeah.
But then you don't feel alone. You feel like you're one as a connected family. Like it's a really big family.
Yeah. So did you find that sense of community and not feeling alone was a real pivotal moment in both of you healing from your grief?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And did you ever find moments where you were isolated or you felt like you couldn't speak to anyone?
I think, as I mentioned, like I think I come from a country like India, which is I think, well, I'm not sure if your viewers will like this or not, but the place I think India, with bereavement stuff, I think it's quite we get very quiet after somebody is is bereaved in our family. We don't quite talk about them. We do hush hush. I think that's what I would say. And because I lived in west part of India, and my mother is from the southern eastern part of India, and it's like 1700 kilometers difference between both these places, and so you have to travel on a train for 25 hours to get to the place from where I lived in Gujarat. So when I lost her, my father couldn't come because of COVID restrictions. So 6 months I was alone, no family member, at a friend's house. And well, I got and I think and the friend was fantastic and their family was well. But then I think going back to the topic of India, I think there is not quite support of bereavement counseling in India.
Yeah.
So I did feel at times I was like, well, I couldn't speak to somebody, and I think got me when I was here, because I then came here. Then I live in Newport, Pembrokeshire, like it's like a north of Pembrokeshire,
Yeah.
very rural part of Wales, and then I live in isolated home. So I don't live on a street like this where I can just go to a friend's home, talk with them. The first year was quite hard because I was like, well, it's my father who has been working in UK for a long time, and I was just with my mother like some months ago, and she's not here anymore. So it was quite hard. But I think then when Sandy Bears came along, the talking I think got far better. Like how now I'm sitting here talking on a podcast about my bereavement could not happen at all, I think, when I was at that stage. So it did help, I think, yes.
What about you, Em? Did you find that there was a moment or a pivotal changing point that allowed you to reach out for help, or did help come to you and you didn't quite realise the impact it would have?
I think when I joined Sunny Bears, I was quite a young age. They helped that at the time, but I've had recent bereavements, which is obviously one of my animals passed away, and I felt very isolated and wouldn't speak to anyone, and it was really bad for my mental health and stuff. But at the time, this youth ambassadors opened up and stuff, and like even though I haven't really talked about that bereavement, going to Sandy Bears and just talking to people about maybe different bereavement bits or like just having a laugh or anything has helped me either open up or close that bereavement bit that I had, like a mental block.
No, I get that. And I think there's such a stigma around the idea of losing animals that people really invalidate it in comparison to losing a human, because you still have the same emotional response and connection regardless. Like they're family, you have that bond. So with that and engaging with Sandy Bears, did you find that it helped in terms of kind of processing and being in that safe space that you could be child-led and decide kind of what would work for you? Or was there anything in particular that made you really rethink how you were processing and healing from your grief?
I think it was just a safe place to just be myself and not like, because obviously with other people going through bereavement, it's a safe place and I don't feel judged, which is I quite like.
Is that what you both think is one of the biggest positives about connecting with others, is that shared space and there's no sense of judgment there?
I think so. I think the first thing is no judgment at all. But I think it's also that if one is sad and I think is remembering their bereaved parent or family member, the other can support them in one or the other sense because they know what they are going through. So like if I know Emily is going through something,
Yeah.
I would know why she's feeling that. And then if it happens like because we are in the same in the same college or something,
Yeah.
then I could tell the other people that, well, you have to understand the situation, so I could help her, and so will she do the same for me. But in that group too, I think, because I think tears do come. We all shed tears when we talk about our bereaved family member or a
Yeah.
parent, and I think that's where we all say the same thing, that we have been through the same thing.
Yeah.
We have also shed tears.
Yeah.
We will also shed tears someday or the other.
But it's
But I
okay
think
to shed
it's
tears.
okay to shed tears. It is
Yeah.
okay. So I think that's what the first thing I learned in Sandy Bears, because I was like, no, we have, because that's how I was taught. I was like, you have to be tough. You don't cry. This
Yeah.
and that. But I think, and then I learned that it's okay to cry. It's totally fine. Nobody cares. It's your tears. They are not on contract. It's not a subscription you have taken really for tears, have you? So it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
Whenever, because I think that's what I learned, that suppressing those emotion is the greatest injustice you are doing to yourself, your own mental health. I think that's the main thing which I learned, and I think that's learned by everybody on that table. So we all know how to manage the other person when they
Yeah.
are in that kind of situation.
Yeah, totally. And I guess it helps you have a greater recognition of yourself and your own feelings, and you'll be able to really check in. And if you're noticing you're experiencing an increase in grief, or if you're able to kind of have ways to ground and allow yourself to be present, but also validate your own experiences and feelings too. So obviously, you are both very young. You're youth ambassadors for a reason. There are other young people across the whole country. I know Sandy Bear is just for those living in Wales, but especially from a hidden strength perspective, we're available to any young person in the UK. We always find on our app that people are quite scared to ask for help and reach out for support because they feel their grief is only theirs and they shouldn't share that. How would you advise or recommend someone in that situation, or what would you say would help make that first step in accessing support?
I would say, even though it's hard, bite the bullet and do it. Because obviously I have high anxiety and stuff, so I
Yeah.
always find it hard to speak to other people, but it's worth it. Because there's one thing with Sandy Bears, I've seen, even if the parent is upset, they help the children, and the children, I've never seen anyone cry. I know it's obviously bereavement and stuff, but I've never seen anyone cry when I've been working with the children and stuff. It's always happy, but it's talking about bereavement in a different way.
Yeah.
Which is quite what I find is rewarding.
Well, what I would say is that, I think if you are listening to this podcast,
Or watching, we're
I
on
think
YouTube.
watching on YouTube or listening to this podcast, I think you have made a great choice, first of all. I think thank you for listening to this episode. And thank you to listen to me and Emily. But I think I will just say that I know bereavement is difficult. Grief, as I said, you have to live with grief.
Yeah.
Grief never goes away. All your life, grief is going to be there. You're 21, you have lost your mother, grief is there. You might forget her at 26 because you are busy, you have a family, you have a son, you have a daughter. But at the age of 39 or something like that, when you have difficulty in your own life and you remember that force, like your mother is not here anymore,
Yeah.
you will remember her again. You will shed tears, you will wipe them off and go on, or cry a lot.
Yeah.
And as I said, if I and Emily, people like us, from Pembrokeshire, had this kind of story which you have just listened throughout, and if we can talk about it, I think you can do it too. I think you can, and you will, and you should.
And you're
That's
not
the way.
alone.
And you are not alone. And it's okay to cry, and everything would be okay. It's just, help is there. It's just you and the help. And that's, I think, 1 or 2 inches away. It's when you subscribe on a YouTube channel, I think, it's just at that far. It's
You just have to
that
click
far.
that
You just have to
button.
click that button or
Yeah.
2. You just have to a ring up person or an email or a button or two.
Yeah.
You just have to do that. You do that every day, sending messages to your friend or everybody else here and there, sending God knows what. But anyways, but there we are. But you should do that, and I think you can, and you will, and you are not alone, as Emily has said. And if you want to cry, cry, no problem
Yeah.
at all. As I said, it's not a subscription. It's your tears. Please do cry, and cry a lot if you want to.
Yeah.
But after you've cried, press that button and get some help.
Yeah.
And there is help. That's what I think. I'll guarantee that for them. So
Yeah.
be happy and be okay. I think that's what I'll say.
And normalise your feelings and asking for support.
Yeah. And talk more as much as possible. That's the
Yeah.
main thing. I
Don't
think.
shut off. Just
No,
talk.
never suppress your own feelings. It's only going to harm you. It's
Yeah.
not going to help anybody else.
Oh my gosh.
So just help yourself. That's the main thing.
Oh, I wish we could keep talking and talking. We'll have to maybe explore like a 2-part series where, because there's so much more I want to ask, but I know this is giving you that spotlight as youth ambassadors,
Thank you.
where I would definitely, and we can film it, I'm okay in saying it, get you back for a more longer in-depth about your story and experience. But the work that you're doing for Sandy Bay and reframing your experiences and having that empowering perspective that you're allowing others to feel safe and validated and knowing that it's okay to feel sad sometimes, to cry sometimes, but also to always ask for help. There will be a lot of young people listening or watching this podcast, and Thomas, you've already thanked them, so I don't need to. But the one thing I do want to ask you both, and I imagine you'll both have different answers for this, if someone is listening or watching this podcast for the first time and you want them to take away just one thing from this episode, what should that be?
Well, for me, it's you're not alone. There are people there that will help you. So get help.
Yep. And for me, it's talk more as much as possible.
And we definitely will. We'll definitely talk more. Maybe season 4. We'll see how
I'm
this...
sure. I think, yeah.
Thank you both so
Thank you very much.
much.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for watching today.
If you feel like you need additional support after the podcast, we've linked resources below.
Please like, share, subscribe, whatever you're listening to us on today.
And download our Hidden Strength app.